The massive observation deck of the Galactic Council's primary scanning station hummed with activity. Officer Tom Reed stood at his post, his eyes fixed on the holographic display showing Sector 7249. It was supposed to be another routine day of monitoring primitive civilizations, but something caught his attention. "Sir, I'm detecting unusual energy patterns from the third planet of this solar system," Tom called out to his superior, Captain James. The older man walked over, his boots making soft sounds on the polished floor. "Show me," Captain James ordered, leaning forward to study the readings. The energy signatures pulsing across the screen didn't match any known patterns in their extensive database. They watched as the planet's inhabitants, known as humans, conducted what appeared to be a fusion experiment. "They shouldn't be capable of this level of technology yet," Captain James muttered, stroking his chin. "How long have they had electricity?" Tom pulled up the historical data. "Just over 2 centuries, sir. But look at this progression curve." He gestured to a chart showing technological advancement rates. The line for Earth shot upward at an angle far steeper than any other civilization they'd ever monitored. Within hours, the observation deck transformed into a hub of frantic activity. Senior analysts were called in, and more scanning equipment was directed toward Earth. They watched in amazement as humans solved problems in ways that defied conventional logic. "They're not just copying and learning," remarked Dr. Peters, the station's chief scientist. "They're innovating, taking existing ideas and transforming them into something new." She pointed to various examples on the screen. Aircraft designs that shouldn't work but did, medical procedures that broke all standard protocols yet saved lives, and energy systems that violated what most species considered fundamental laws. The Council's emergency session was called 3 days later. Representatives from the 1,000 most advanced civilizations gathered to discuss the Earth situation. The massive chamber fell silent as the observation team presented their findings. In the past 100 years alone, they'd gone from primitive combustion engines to the brink of faster-than-light travel, Dr. Peters explained to the assembled aliens. But it's not just their speed of advancement that concerns us. It's their method of thinking. The holographic display showed humans tackling problems in ways that made many council members uncomfortable. Where other species followed logical progressions, humans made intuitive leaps. Where others saw insurmountable barriers, humans found unconventional solutions. "They don't just think outside the box," Captain James added. "They question why the box exists in the first place. Then they redesign it, or get rid of it entirely if it doesn't serve their purpose." The council chamber erupted in concerned murmurs. One of the eldest members, a being who had seen millennia of galactic history, rose to speak. "In all my years, I've never seen anything like this," the elder said, their voice resonating through the chamber. "We've encountered quick learners before, but humans, they don't just learn. They transform. They take established principles and bend them to their will." The observation team showed more evidence. Humans recovering from disasters that should have ended their civilization, adapting to changes that would have wiped out other species, and most worryingly, their constant drive to push boundaries. "At their current rate of progression," Tom explained, pulling up predictive models, "they'll achieve in decades what took most of us millennia. And once they start interacting with advanced technology," he let the thought hang in the air. The implications were clear. Humanity wouldn't just join the galactic community. They would revolutionize it. Every piece of technology they touched would be questioned, improved, and transformed. Every established system would be challenged and reorganized. As the emergency session concluded, the Council faced an unprecedented situation. For the first time in its history, they weren't dealing with a primitive species that needed guidance. They were facing a force of change that could reshape the very foundations of galactic society. The decision they would make in the coming days would affect not just humanity's future, but the future of every spacefaring civilization. As the members filed out of the chamber, one thing was certain: The discovery of humanity had changed everything. The massive diplomatic vessel emerged from hyperspace near Earth's moon, its crystalline surface reflecting sunlight in dazzling patterns. Inside, Ambassador White adjusted his formal robes, preparing for humanity's first contact with the Galactic Council. "The humans are broadcasting a welcome message," reported the ship's communication officer. "They're requesting permission to send a delegation to our vessel." Ambassador White shook his head. "No, we'll meet them on their space station. Let them feel secure on their own ground." He understood the importance of this meeting. The future of the galaxy might depend on it. The International Space Station had been hastily modified for this historic encounter. World leaders gathered in the newly constructed diplomatic chamber, their hearts racing with excitement and fear. The first sight of the alien delegation left them speechless. Ambassador White led his team into the chamber. Though they appeared humanoid, their slightly translucent skin and flowing movements made it clear they were not from Earth. The human representatives tried to hide their awe, but their wide eyes and quickened breathing gave them away. "People of Earth," Ambassador White began, his voice translated perfectly into every human language simultaneously. "We come not in celebration, but in mourning." The chamber fell silent. The UN Secretary-General leaned forward, her expression shifting from welcome to concern. "Warning. About what?" The ambassador activated a holographic display showing the galaxy. "For millions of years, we've maintained balance. Thousands of civilizations coexist through careful regulation of technological advancement and cultural exchange." The display zoomed in on various alien worlds, showing peaceful societies at different stages of development. "But you," he continued, focusing the display on Earth, "you are different. Your rate of advancement is unprecedented. Your methods of innovation are—" He paused, searching for the right word. "Dangerous." The human delegates exchanged confused looks. The Russian president spoke up. "Dangerous? We've only just achieved reliable spaceflight. How could we be dangerous to such advanced civilizations?" Ambassador White's expression grew grave. He showed recordings of human history, how they'd recovered from plagues, wars, and natural disasters, how they'd taken primitive technology and transformed it into something new within decades instead of centuries. "You don't understand," he explained. "It's not your current technology that concerns us. It's your potential. Your species doesn't just use technology. You reimagine it. You don't just solve problems. You redefine them." The Chinese premier's brow furrowed. "Isn't that a good thing?" "Not for galactic stability," another alien delegate interjected. "We've spent millennia creating systems that work, establishing trade routes that function, developing technologies that serve their purpose. Your way of thinking would upset everything." The holographic display showed predictions of human influence on galactic society. Traditional technologies transformed into unrecognizable forms. Established social systems revolutionized. Centuries of careful balance undone in decades. "We're asking you to stay within your solar system," Ambassador White stated firmly. "Continue your development here, but do not venture into the wider galaxy. The change you would bring, many civilizations wouldn't survive it." The room erupted in protests. The American president stood up, her voice cutting through the chaos. "You can't contain human curiosity. It's fundamental to who we are." "We know," Ambassador White replied softly. "That's exactly what frightens us." The meeting continued for hours, with both sides presenting arguments. The aliens showed evidence of collapsed civilizations that couldn't adapt to rapid change. The humans argued for their right to explore and grow. As the diplomatic session ended, Ambassador White made one final plea. "Please understand, this isn't about suppression. It's about survival. Not just yours, but everyone's. The galaxy isn't ready for humanity's way of thinking." The human delegates watched the alien delegation depart, their minds heavy with the choice before them. Stay confined to their solar system, or risk bringing chaos to the galaxy. As the diplomatic vessel disappeared into hyperspace, Earth's leaders knew they faced the most important decision in human history. But even as they debated, in laboratories and workshops around the world, humans continued to innovate, create, and push boundaries. It was, after all, what they did best. The United Nations General Assembly had never been so crowded. Every nation had sent their best minds: scientists, politicians, military leaders, and philosophers. The debate over the Galactic Council's request had raged for weeks, and today they would make their decision. Dr. Robert, head of the Global Science Coalition, stood at the podium. "We cannot accept isolation," he declared, his voice firm. "Our entire history is built on exploration and discovery. To stop now would be to deny our very nature." The chamber's massive screens displayed data from recent technological breakthroughs. Since the aliens' visit, human innovation had accelerated even further, as if their warning had only fueled humanity's drive to advance. "Look at what we've achieved in just the past month," Dr. Robert continued, pointing to the screens. "We've already reverse-engineered principles from their propulsion systems just by analyzing their ship's energy signature. We can't stop now." The opposing view came from Professor Mary, a renowned anthropologist. "We're talking about potentially destroying civilizations that have existed for millions of years. Don't we have a moral obligation to consider their welfare?" The debate shifted when the military demonstration began. General Thompson stepped forward, activating a holographic display. "Using principles we observed from their technology, we've developed something unprecedented." The display showed a new type of energy shield, but it worked differently from the aliens' version. Where their shields blocked energy, this one absorbed and redirected it. It was exactly what the Council had feared: humans taking their concepts and transforming them into something new. "We didn't copy their technology," the general explained. "We saw it and thought, how can we make it better? That's what humans do. We improve things. It's in our DNA." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. In just weeks, they had taken an alien concept and evolved it beyond its original purpose. The Council's fears weren't unfounded. A young engineer named Jack stood up from the audience. "I've been working on something in my garage," he said nervously. "Using the principles from their ship's energy readings, I think I've found a way to improve our solar panels by 300%. More voices joined in. Around the world, thousands of inventors, scientists, and even children had been inspired by the alien technology. They weren't just copying it. They were revolutionizing it. The UN Secretary-General raised her hands for silence. "We face a choice that will define our species. Do we accept the Council's wishes and remain isolated? Or do we follow our nature and risk changing the galaxy forever?" An elderly scientist in the back of the room spoke up. "Perhaps the real question is, do we have the right to deny the galaxy the benefits of human innovation? Yes, change can be difficult, but it can also bring amazing improvements." The screen showed simulations of human-enhanced alien technologies. Medical devices that could heal faster, engines that could travel further, communication systems that worked better. Everything humans touched seemed to evolve. "We can't stop being who we are," Dr. Robert concluded. "Innovation isn't just what we do, it's who we are. The galaxy may not be ready for change, but change is coming whether they like it or not." The final vote was overwhelming. Humanity would not accept isolation. They would continue to develop, to innovate, and to prepare for their inevitable expansion into the stars. As the assembly concluded, a junior scientist rushed in with exciting news. "We've done it," she exclaimed. "We found a way to improve the efficiency of their faster-than-light travel by 50%. The room erupted in excited chatter. They had proven the Council right. Humanity wouldn't just join the galactic community, they would transform it. The only question now was how to prepare for the challenges ahead. As delegates left the assembly, there was a sense of both excitement and responsibility. They had chosen to change the galaxy, but they would need to find a way to do it responsibly. The real work was just beginning. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a secret research facility, A team of scientists gathered around a strange device. It wasn't pretty. A mess of wires, crystals, and hastily welded metal, but it represented humanity's first real chance to break through the containment barrier the Council had placed around Earth's solar system. "Final systems check," announced Dr. Mark, the project leader. His hands moved steadily across the control panel despite the enormous pressure. They all knew they'd only get one shot at this. The device was built using principles they'd learned from studying the Council's ships, but in typical human fashion, they hadn't just copied the technology. They transformed it. Where the aliens used energy to create barriers, humans had found a way to create windows instead. "Energy levels stable," reported Lisa, the team's engineer. "The window should hold for approximately 20 minutes. She didn't mention what would happen if they were still inside when it collapsed. The small exploration vessel they prepared looked more like a submarine than a spaceship. They'd designed it to slip through the dimensional crack their device would create, hopefully undetected by the Council's sensors. "Launch sequence starting," Dr. Mark announced. The room hummed with power as the device activated. A shimmer appeared in the air, like heat waves rising from hot pavement, then stretched into a tunnel of swirling energy. Captain Bill guided the vessel into position. "This is either the stupidest thing we've ever done, or the most important," he said with a nervous grin. His crew of 3, all volunteers, nodded in agreement. The launch went perfectly. One moment the ship was there. The next it had slipped through the window into uncharted space beyond the barrier. The Council's containment field never detected them. What they found exceeded their wildest expectations. An abandoned alien trading post floated in the darkness, its systems still partially functional. It was like finding a gold mine of technological secrets. "Look at this," breathed Joe, the team's tech specialist, examining an alien device. "Their power systems are incredible, but wait." He paused, his eyes widening. "We could make this so much better." Over the next 15 minutes, they downloaded as much data as they could while Joe took photos of everything he saw. But it was a small machine in the corner that really caught their attention. "It's some kind of replicator," Bill explained over the radio to the base. "But it's limited to creating exact copies. If we modified the pattern recognition systems and added adaptive algorithms, the possibilities were endless." Even this abandoned outpost showed them dozens of ways to improve upon alien technology. Humanity's gift for innovation was already at work. Their return through the window was cutting it close. They had less than a minute to spare, but they brought back more than just data and photos. They'd brought back proof that humanity could surpass the Council's technology. News of their success spread quickly through secret channels. Within days, laboratories around the world were working on the stolen designs, not to copy them, but to improve them. "Look at these results," Dr. Mark said during a secure video conference a week later. "We've already improved the efficiency of their replicator design by 200%. Their power systems can be upgraded to produce 40% more energy with our modifications." But they weren't careful enough. Strange energy signatures from their experiments caught the attention of passing alien ships. Word began to spread through the galaxy. The humans had broken containment, and they were already changing everything they touched. In his office, Dr. Mark received an urgent message. Other human teams had started launching their own breach attempts. The genie was out of the bottle. "We need to move faster," he told his team. "Once the Council realizes what's happening, they'll try to stop us. We need to be too valuable to contain by then." As alarms began to sound in the Council's monitoring stations, humanity was already racing forward. They hadn't just breached the barrier. They'd started a revolution that would transform the galaxy forever. The Council's worst fears were coming true, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. The smugglers' market on the edge of Council space buzzed with unusual activity. Alien merchants huddled around their stalls, examining strange new devices that had begun appearing throughout the galaxy. Each bore the unmistakable mark of human modification. "This shield generator," whispered a merchant, holding up a small device. "The humans rebuilt it. Now it uses half the power, and works twice as well. His customers crowded closer, eyes wide with interest, despite the council's strict warnings about human technology. In the council's main chamber, alarms flashed constantly. Reports poured in from every sector. Human innovations were spreading like wildfire through trade routes. The smaller civilizations, tired of the council's restrictions, eagerly embraced these improvements. "We must stop this," thundered a council elder, pounding his fist on the table. "Every piece of human-modified technology threatens our stability." But even as he spoke, his own staff used a human-improved communicator, finding it far more efficient than the original version. On a distant mining colony, workers gathered around their newly modified equipment. "Our production has tripled," the mine supervisor reported to his superiors. "The humans took our old extractors and completely redesigned them. We can't go back to the old way now." Similar scenes played out across thousands of worlds. Hospitals found their healing chambers working better than ever. Ships flew faster and used less fuel. Communication networks carried more data with perfect clarity. The humans hadn't just improved individual devices, they'd started a cascade of advancement that couldn't be contained. "The humans understand our technology better than we do," admitted a young council scientist during an emergency session. "They see possibilities we never imagined. And now," she hesitated, "now others are learning to think like them." That was the council's greatest fear realized. Humanity wasn't just spreading technology. They were spreading their way of thinking. Other species began asking questions they'd never asked before. "Why does this work this way? Could it work better? What if we tried something new?" In the markets of 1,000 worlds, merchants now advertised their goods as human-enhanced or earth-improved. These products commanded premium prices and sold out instantly. The council's authority began to crack as more civilizations chose progress over stability. "Look at what they did to this food synthesizer," explained an excited alien chef to his customers. "It used to make exact copies of traditional meals. Now it can combine flavors in new ways, create entirely new dishes." His restaurant, like many others featuring human-modified cuisine, had a waiting list months long. Back on Earth, human scientists continued their work, now aided by information flowing in from across the galaxy. Each alien technology they encountered sparked new ideas, new improvements, new possibilities. "We're not just changing their technology," observed Dr. Mark in his updated research facility. "We're changing how the galaxy thinks about progress itself." His team had just finished improving another alien device, making it simpler, more efficient, and more versatile. The council tried to maintain control. They banned human-modified technology, imposed trade restrictions, and threatened severe penalties. But their efforts came too late. The revolution had already taken hold in the minds of countless species. "Why should we wait centuries for approved improvements?" demanded the leader of a mid-sized civilization during a council session. "The humans have shown us a better way. We choose progress." Other representatives stood and cheered, while the council elders watched in dismay. In orbit around Earth, human engineers worked on their biggest project yet, improvements to the very faster-than-light drive systems the galaxy relied upon. Their modifications promised to make space travel accessible to even the smallest civilizations. The council was right about one thing, mused an alien trader as he installed human-modified engines in his ship. Humanity changed everything. But they were wrong about it being a disaster. The galaxy needed this change. The revolution couldn't be stopped now. Humanity had unlocked not just new technology, but a new way of thinking that spread from world to world, species to species. The age of careful, controlled progress was over. A new era of innovation had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Council's warships emerged from hyperspace around Earth's orbit, their weapons primed. After months of failed attempts to contain humanity's influence, they had chosen force as their final option. The massive fleet darkened the skies above every major city. "This is your final warning," the Council's supreme commander broadcast globally. "Cease all technological development, and submit to containment or face the consequences. They expected Earth's surrender. No civilization had ever withstood a full Council fleet. In response, Earth went dark. Every light, every signal, every power signature vanished. The Council ship's sensors showed nothing but a seemingly defenseless planet. "Something's wrong," muttered the commander, studying his displays. "This is too easy." Before he could issue new orders, his flagship systems suddenly shut down. Across the fleet, ship after ship lost power. Earth's true defenses revealed themselves. Thousands of small satellites, previously invisible, activated at once. They didn't fire weapons. They didn't need to. Instead, they'd broadcast a signal that interfaced with the Council ship's systems, using their own technology against them. Impossible. The commander watched helplessly as his mighty fleet hung powerless in space. How did they overcome our security so easily? The answer came from a human broadcast. "We didn't hack your systems," explained Earth's defense chief. "We rebuilt them. While you were trying to contain us, we studied every piece of your technology that reached Earth. We didn't just improve it, we transformed it." From hidden bases around the solar system, Earth's ships emerged. They looked nothing like traditional spacecraft. They moved in ways that defied known physics, using principles the Council had never imagined. "We could destroy your fleet," the defense chief continued. "But that's not our way. Instead, we'll show you something better." The satellites began transmitting new programs to the Council ships, upgrading their systems beyond anything their builders had envisioned. The Council crews watched in amazement as their ships came back online. Everything worked better. Engines, weapons, life support, all improved beyond their original specifications. It wasn't an attack. It was a demonstration. "Your civilizations call us dangerous," the human broadcast continued. "But we don't want to destroy. We want to improve, to innovate, to make things better for everyone." As if on cue, signals came in from across the galaxy. Dozens of alien civilizations declared their support for Earth. Many had already benefited too much from human innovations to stand with the Council. "Your time of controlling progress is over," declared an alien leader whose people had doubled their lifespan thanks to human-improved medical technology. "We choose humanity's path." The Council fleet's commander stood on his bridge, watching his improved systems perform miracles. His weapons could now stun instead of kill. His engines used a fraction of their former power. His ship could save lives instead of taking them. "We don't want to fight you," the Earth defense chief offered. "Work with us. Let us help you improve. Let us show you how much better things can be." More alien civilizations broke away from the Council's authority. They had seen the future humanity offered, not one of destruction, but of unprecedented advancement and possibilities. The Council ships retreated, their mighty fleet humbled not by force, but by innovation. They had come to stop humanity's influence, only to become examples of it themselves. In the aftermath, Earth's leaders met to discuss the future. "We proved today that humanity's greatest weapon isn't our ability to destroy," said the defense chief. "It's our ability to improve, to innovate, to make things better." Across the galaxy, the news spread quickly. The Council's military power, their last tool of control, had been rendered obsolete by human ingenuity. But instead of destruction, Earth had offered improvement. Instead of war, they had demonstrated progress. The reckoning was complete. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and overcome it not through force, but through their unique gift for innovation. The galaxy would never be the same, and most of its inhabitants were beginning to think that might be exactly what they needed. 5 years after the Council's failed attempt to contain Earth, the galaxy had transformed beyond recognition. The old Council chamber, once a place of rigid order, now buzzed with excited discussions as representatives from hundreds of species shared new ideas. "Look at these statistics," announced the new Galactic Assembly leader, an alien who had first embraced human innovation. "Trade has increased by 500%. Scientific breakthroughs are happening daily. Even the most distant colonies are thriving with new technology. The chamber itself symbolized the change. Where the council had sat in ranked positions showing their status, the new assembly met in a circular room where all species were equal. Humans sat among them, not as rulers, but as partners in progress. Our biggest challenge now is keeping up with all the innovations, laughed Dr. Mark, now serving as Earth's representative. Every time we improve something, someone else takes that improvement and makes it even better. The changes went far beyond technology. Cultures that had been stagnant for millennia now experienced renaissance. Art, music, and literature flourished as species borrowed and built upon each other's ideas. Human creativity had sparked a cultural revolution. On a distant mining world, the former council elder watched automated machines extract resources without damaging the environment. "I was wrong about humans," he admitted to his companions. "They didn't destroy our way of life. They made it better." The improvements touched every aspect of galactic life. Medical technology advanced so rapidly that diseases once thought incurable became minor inconveniences. Space travel became so efficient that even the smallest ships could cross the galaxy with ease. "The humans taught us something valuable," explained a young alien scientist at a tech conference. "It's not enough to make something work. We should always ask how to make it work better." Earth had changed too. The planet had become a hub of interstellar culture and commerce. Alien visitors walked freely in human cities, sharing ideas and experiences. Schools taught children from dozens of species, each bringing unique perspectives to problem solving. But humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy wasn't any specific technology. It was their way of thinking. Other species learned to question, to experiment, to imagine new possibilities. Innovation became a galactic value, not just a human one. "We feared change," reflected the former council commander who had once led the fleet against Earth. But change, guided by wisdom and creativity, was exactly what we needed. The new system wasn't perfect. Sometimes innovations failed. Sometimes progress brought unexpected challenges. But unlike the old council, the new assembly faced these challenges with flexibility and creativity. In orbit around Earth, a massive space station served as a symbol of the new era. Its design combined architectural elements from 100 worlds, improved by human ingenuity. Inside, scientists from across the galaxy worked together, sharing ideas and pushing boundaries. "Humanity didn't just change our technology," observed an alien philosopher. "They changed how we think about change itself. We learned that progress doesn't have to be scary. It can be exciting." Even the most conservative species now embraced innovation. They had seen how human improvements made their traditions more accessible and meaningful rather than destroying them. "The council thought we would bring chaos," said the Earth defense chief during an assembly meeting. "Instead, we brought evolution. Not just to technology, but to how we all think about the future." As the first 5 years of the new era drew to a close, the galaxy celebrated. Not just the technological advances, but the new spirit of cooperation and creativity that had spread among the stars. The old council's prophecy had come true. Humanity had changed everything. But instead of the disaster they had feared, it had brought a golden age of progress and possibility. In the assembly chamber, representatives from Earth sat among their alien colleagues, no longer seen as dangerous revolutionaries, but as valued partners in building a better future. The galaxy had learned that change, guided by human creativity and wisdom, wasn't something to fear. It was something to embrace.